The face of the Jets, no longer the face of the Green Bay Packers, which takes us to number 13 on your list.
Yes, it is. It takes me to Jordan Love, right? One notch above Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I like that on the graphic there. Air Jordan, Jordan Love. Yeah. First off, incredible job last year. Incredible. I think to handle the pressure of coming off the heels of Aaron Rodgers, and it didn't get off to the greatest, smoothest start in the world, but damn, it ended pretty damn well. That's for sure. Second half of the season, the lights came on, and he played like a big-time franchise quarterback, right? They kind of went into a thing here where they basically said, okay, it's sink or swim. And we got to start taking the training wheels off, right? And I said this to you before the podcast where, hey, those first 6, 7, 8 weeks, they might have been managing them, and they might have been over-managing it to where it didn't even give them a chance to really succeed or attack a defense the right way. But I think at some point they went like, wait, either we got to see if he can do it or we're just not going to win games or every game's going to be a struggle, right? And they kind of took the training wheels off and they went, here's a bunch more plays on the offense. Can you handle it? Can you make this work? And damn, did he make it work. I mean, he played his best versus the best competition until like 2 of his last throws of the year.
Yeah.
Right? Against the 49ers, which he did a lot of good things in that game. But we know how it ended. But you know my point when I say that. At the end of the year, the schedule was tough. They played some good football teams. He played really, really good football. And it wasn't like, oh, they were hiding him or trying to use a run game or do any of that. No, they unleashed him, right? And, you know, this is what I would say about him just as a player and a specimen, Ahmed. When he's on his game, he's really one of the most gifted throwers in the NFL, right? From every standpoint. I mean, he has a big-time arm. He can really throw with power. He's got a great deep ball, right, that he can let it loose. He wants to stand in the pocket and make power throws and plays downfield. Again, the one thing that's apparent, right, watching Rodgers to Jordan Love, right, and watching some of Rodgers in Green Bay, the offense was different. It was more aggressive. And damn, Jordan Love wasn't going to leave the pocket until he had to leave the pocket. He was literally like, wait, they're about to hit me? Oh, no, he didn't hit me. I'm going to wait a little longer because here comes Christian Watson or here comes Dobbs. Hold on, I'm going to sit on my back leg. Uh-oh, I might get hit here. But let me throw one of those little sidearm floaters over the middle for a 30-yard gain. I mean, that's where, you know, he's fearless that way. And because of his gifted arm, I mean, he really has every club in the bag, right? Talk about a stand in the pocket. The amount of arm angles and off-platform throws he has, I would say rival the best in the game in that department, right? When you talk about running to his left and throwing a ball sidearm or being in the pocket and like, oh, wait, I got somebody over the middle, but I can't throw it traditionally because there's a big D tackle with his hand up. He can go sidearm around him that way, throwing off his back foot and throwing balls that you're like, man, that's a 50-yard post down the middle, and he's like off his back foot and he didn't even get his body into it.
Yeah.
Right? Those are things he can do where you watch it and you go, damn, that is pretty.
So those are all things that we saw from Aaron Rodgers, right? And I don't know that we saw that from Jordan Love at college, right? Or in the limited time we saw him preseason, right? Some of those spot starts. And so those are some learned things. And so I wasn't going to get into this, but I think it makes sense. Tom Brady was talking about Jordan Love on the Colin Cowherd show. I missed this. And he said he had Aaron Rodgers to watch. That's the best type of training, in my opinion. Watch someone else do it at a very high level and then try to emulate them.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a misnomer with the draft is that these players can come in and all of a sudden become this great professional player. So you kind of have both philosophies here, right? It's like, one, there's no better training than coming in, playing right away. You're going to take your lumps, but you're going to learn. And then you have the Packers, what they've done here with Jordan Love, and that he waited and waited and waited and learned from one of the best.
Right.
And now he is above the best, and he's above a lot of other good quarterbacks here at 13 on your list here. So, like, I know every situation is different, but is there one? Are we? Because we're going to have a lot of rookie quarterbacks who we're going to start this year, right away.
I think they were farther along than he was when he came. I think that, like you said, you got to take everything into account. He was one of those where you remember back at the time, right? It was a little bit like, man, I love his good, right? And I overdid it with his good and ranked him above Tua right away, right? But then, you know, the bad was like, whoa, it's like we got some work to do. Decisions, throws, all of it.
Maybe you were right though. I'm just saying that.
Well, I you know, sometimes that's where I got to go, wait. don't forget, this isn't about right now always. So the quarterback draft rankings is what I think they're going to be 2-3 years down the road, right? And that's where maybe I chickened out, and I shouldn't have, right? But it was so raw that I think I was a little bit like, I can't just say he's definitely going to overcome some of this stuff, because not only was there the decision making, but there was mechanical things. It was a little bit of everything. So I do think for him, this did him a good deed. It did. Yeah. Now, did he need to sit for 3 years? I don't know about that, But again, I'm usually in the line of play, right? But not to the point of I want to just throw a guy out there that I think has a lot of things to work on, and I see high-end talent, but it's not quite there yet, and I don't want to ruin him or destroy him and cause more problems to just throwing him out there, right? That's like what I would say with Drake May up in New England. Drake May got some big-time talent. We know that. But he would be one where, I don't think he's like J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix or Michael Penix or Jaden Daniels or Caleb. I don't think he's ready right now. I think they can play right now. Yeah. I think if you play Drake May, it could funnel into, we had 2 problems and now we have 5 problems, right? So that's where you got to kind of balance that out a little.
Sit behind the legend of Jacoby Brissett and learn from him and be a clone.
Well, the other thing Love gets not only, I get to sit behind Rodgers, hear his thought process, right? Get to see his mechanics, which when he throws the ball the right way, Rodgers' mechanics are like as good as they get. Yeah. You get to see the preparation during the week, right? So you get to deal with all of that. Yeah. Let alone you get to prepare yourself for the pressure you're going to be under, okay? Because when you're the backup quarterback and you're young, you come in on some Wednesdays and you're like, whoa, that was a bad loss, and whoa, the national media's on Rodgers, and like I used to come in and like a little bit on those days, and like when we have that, and be like, how's this day going to work out? How's Brad Johnson going to handle, like, everybody in Tampa Bay says he stinks now, and they're on Gruden, and we lost the game we shouldn't have lost, right? So he got to see those situations and go, this is how this guy handled it. So I do think it really, really benefited him for this one.
Like, there are very few situations in teams where this is possible. Like, a lot of these rookie quarterbacks are going to teams that don't have a quarterback.
They don't have Aaron Rodgers.
Have anyone to really learn from.
Right.
But I'm looking at other teams like a Matthew Stafford or something like that. The Rams there's some situations where it's like you get the right quarterback there, and who knows, maybe they exceed expectations.
Well, Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, they're doing what you're talking about.
Good point.
Right? They're kind of hoping it gets, goes that way. I think some of their thought in Atlanta was, hey, if Kirk Cousins plays the way we think he can play, we're not going to be drafting high anyways anytime soon. And what I know from Atlanta is they had a grade or a view of Michael Penix where they thought he was like the best quarterback to come out in football in a few years, not just this year. Right, so they loved him to such an extent that even though I think that move was kind of crazy, right, that's kind of their logic, and I'm not going to be mad at them for it.
So Pro Football Focus said this about Love. They were looking at the numbers just like you were in the performance. From Week 8 on, Love earned an elite 90 passing grade, 27 big-time throws, 10 turnover-worthy plays. His play down the stretch into the playoffs was pretty good. He struggled with accuracy in the first half of the season, but was on fire in the second half. So you do feel more confident than what we saw when the chains were removed and we saw Jordan Love throwing, not those last couple passes, the last one specifically. Right. That's what we will see moving forward from Jordan Love.
I think so. And I would be shocked if it doesn't even get better. Just like we saw last year, it just continued to get better and better and better. He's a very good athlete. He scrambles to throw, and that's what the most dangerous quarterbacks do in football right now, right? Plays big in the pocket. He plays big. That's people around him, he really, like I said, like he's going to hang in there. He doesn't get flustered by it, and he's not worried about getting hit or anything that way, right? He commanded the line of scrimmage from week 6 to week 16. It's a different human being. At the end of the year, he's pointing people out and checking plays and doing all this, and you're like, holy crap. He could barely say the quarterback, said hut in the first week 4. And now he's doing that, right? So he's got anticipation. He has that. But here's the negative. And you just hit on it a little bit. And you hit what PFF said about accuracy. And what you saw, you remember the 2 interceptions in the 49er game, right? There was the one at the very end, which was just, hey, dumb and stupid and over-aggressive, right? And probably feeling himself. And I've been making plays that are awesome for 10 weeks now. I'm going to make one more, right? Yeah. So that one, dumb. He made a mistake. The other one, remember he had the shallow cross underneath, right? And he missed. The guy was wide open, and he threw the ball high, and the guy had to reach up, and it like hit his hand, and it got intercepted, right? That is his biggest thing, right? He can definitely be more of a machine with quick to intermediate throws, right? He's got such a loose, gifted arm, right? And that's cool. But with like a shorter throw where it's got to be quick and precise, it can't be all these moving parts at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It almost, you think about Aaron Rodgers when he throws like a slant. It's almost like, did he throw it? It's like it's just came out of his ear, right? It's just because he uses his body, and now it's like a golfer with a pitching wedge. You can't be like, I'm 7 feet from the green. Let me take a full swing and wiggle that shit around and then just hit it and it'll land next to the hole. No, it's got to be like really tight and precise, right? And that's the same with short passing game. And that's to me like his footwork, his tightness in his feet, and his tightness in his arm all together, right? I think he needs to have a quicker and tighter motion. Arm can get too loose. The other thing, like we've talked about with a lot of young quarterbacks, he stays on number 1 too long, which is also I like, don't get me wrong, because that's where his aggressive nature and, hey, the play was designed for this guy, and I'm going to wait and see if he pops, right? So he does that, but at times he can wait a little too long. But as I said, he's got every club in the bag, he just needs to perfect it, and he got better and better as they started to attack rather than manage him.
Well, he was 31 last year for you in this ranking. Now he is 13. He's flipped it around. He was in his own tier. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. We figured out what he is, and he is a ascending quarterback who the sky is the limit. Top 10 is in his sights here. Now, I would say one of the more interesting things you ever said about him to me was that because sometimes he does some of those back foot throws off the back foot, lofts it up. You're like, he didn't really need to go off his back foot there. But you think part of that is because he doesn't trust himself as much to just flat foot,
be mechanically
solid
perfect.
Base. Yes, exactly.
Right. It's the fallback. It's the fail-safe system. Right? I've seen this with Lamar Jackson, where you'd go like, wait, the pocket was clean. He kind of still threw it sidearm and like did that because there's when you're back here like this and you can kind of just hang back there and you can emulate it easily, right? So you can kind of like replicate that time after time after time, but it doesn't always conducive to, oh wait, now I got to really put some juice on it. Right. The window's kind of tight. And I got to be a machine to control it that way. There's a little bit of a difference there in the way that throw happens and how the mechanics have to happen. And those mechanics are a little bit more complicated than, hey, just hang on your back leg and kind of just, use your gifted arm and big hands and just flick it over there, right? Which is nice. But again, more times than not, like that second to last interception he threw in the 49ers game, it needs to be like, boom, machine. Like think about Peyton Manning, right? He's popping and the ball's right here underneath his chin and all that. It can't be, oh, he's wide open. Let me just chill and like barely let it out and throw that. And then, oh, it fluttered on me. Oh, it kind of came out weird, right? It's hard to be a machine like that all the time or make the really, really intricate, tight throws that you need to make.
Does he have the weapons around him to fulfill his potential at least next year?
Yes.
So we got Christian Watson, we got Romeo Doubs, we got Jaden Reed, the top 3 wide receivers here. Dontavian Wicks, who was awesome at times last year as well.
Yeah, did really damn well too.
Here are the receiving leaders coming back. They're young. They're all young, but they're talented.
I love this group, and I love it a lot as Christian Watson stays healthy, right? You know what I think of Christian Watson. I think he's a superstar, right? I saw Matt LaFleur made a few comments about it a few weeks ago. They think his hamstring's in the right spot here, right? It's been a reoccurring injury. The young tight ends they have, and then they got Josh Jacobs to go along with a good line, and like where this guy is good, and I mean, borderline great, is Jordan Love's a tremendous play-action quarterback. Right? He really is. And I would think that's going to continue to be the recipe there. They're going to do that, run the ball, and then they got some guys that certainly can stress you out down the field, and those damn tight ends are good too. And what was it? Was it Kraft, Tucker Kraft, who just tore the pectoral? Was it Tucker Kraft or Musgrave? I can't remember, but I know one of those tight ends just tore their pectoral on the bench, and he won't be ready until training camp or right before that.
No number 1 right now. You think Christian has the talent there. So, I mean, maybe the Raiders say, what are they doing with Devontae Adams this year? I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going anywhere. Just give him back.
Well,
give him back. Give him a number 1 wide receiver.
I think they, even if none of those are number 1s right now, I think I could all go. There can be number twos. They're like good number twos, and I do think Watson has a chance to be that legit number one. But the thing I do like about them, and like we kind of talk about, is they all can do a little bit of everything. Like you said, we saw Jaden Reed do it all last year.
Yeah,
and he's a player, right? Wicks can kind of do it all. Dobbs can do it all. They all have their own little spot where they're their best at, but they have very good versatility. And then you add a guy like Watson who could be. He's their version of Jameson Williams. If he can be healthy and what we think he can be, that offense will go to another level, just like your Lions will this year.
So that is number 13 for you in the wild card tier. But wild card is still early, but he might get $50 million. That's also another topic of conversation with Jordan Love. It's like they got to pay him because they sat him for so long. He's due for a payday. We'll see. It seems like he played like a top 10
I'd be interested in what they do. Do they want to kick the can a little bit and just go, hey, we'd like to see a little bit more?
Yeah, will he allow that?
Or do they want to get out in front of it and go, hey, here's a deal, right? Yeah, you maybe can get more after the year, but this is really good and this is life-changing money. Do you want to take it now or do you want to gamble?
Mike Garafolo of NFL Media indicated that his new deal would be in the territory of Bengals star Joe Burrow. So that is to say, over $50 million a year.
That's that. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's aggressive, but they're seeing him on an everyday basis. They know what he's made of. We know he's got the talent.
Yeah.
Right. And again, those numbers are $52, $54 million a year. 3 years from now, we're gonna go. That's not that big of a deal at that position. I mean, that's the way it looks like. It's trending that way. Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. It's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.